Hey everyone, and welcome to Big Flick Energy. So we finally have the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and while critics are mixed on it, fans love this film, and it shows in the box office, which makes it pretty obvious, alongside a post-credits scene, that we will be getting a Super Mario Bros. Sequel. I also love this film, so I really wanted to make this video. Not only this, but there is also a rumored Donkey Kong spin-off film in the works. With projects like this, fans are beginning to wonder if these films are just the beginning for a much larger Nintendo cinematic universe, bringing together characters from different Nintendo games like Mario, Link, and Kirby in crossover films based off the Super Smash Bros. Franchise. So while we don't know what this universe would be, I decided that today, I'll be making a full timeline and storyline that I believe should be used in an eventual Nintendo cinematic universe. Now, before I begin, I just want to say that I tried recording this in one go, and I realized the video is going to be 1 hour long, so I decided instead I'm going to cut into 3 parts, where I'm going to do Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3, where Phase 1 ends with the first Smash Bros. Movie, Phase 2 ends with the Smash Bros. Brawl movie, and Phase 3 ends with the Smash Bros. Ultimate movie. So, that's going to be the form of this, so here we go. First off, we have the Super Mario Bros. Movie, just came out. It follows Mario as he tries to save his brother from the grips of Bowser and save the Mushroom Kingdom with the help of Princess Peach, Toad, Donkey Kong, and others. So a couple of interesting things in this movie were how it sets up some things for the future. For example, we see King Boo, which will eventually appear in a Luigi's Mansion movie. We see Lumali from the Super Mario Galaxy games, and that is eventually going to lead to a Super Mario Galaxy movie. Yoshi being teased at the end of the movie, which is going to be in the Super Mario Bros. Sequel. And then also they tease that Peach doesn't really know what her homeworld is, so that will eventually be explored a little bit in the first Smash Bros. Movie. So the next movie, and the first one that is an original, is the Donkey Kong movie, which would be around the end of 2024 or early 2025. So this is going to follow the events of the video game Donkey Kong Country. So a movie adaptation of Donkey Kong Country would follow the story of Donkey Kong and his loyal sidekick Diddy Kong as they set out on a perilous adventure to retrieve their stolen banana hoard from the evil King K. Rool and his army of Kremlins. Along the way, Donkey and Diddy Kong, where Diddy Kong was in this film but in a very small role, they face numerous obstacles and enemies, navigating through treacherous environments and challenging obstacles. They receive help from other characters such as Candy Kong and Cranky Kong, where Cranky Kong actually had a pretty large role in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, who provide valuable advice and support. In the final showdown, the Kongs face off against King K. Rool in a thrilling battle to reclaim their bananas and restore peace to Donkey Kong Island. The movie would capture the fun, colorful world of Donkey Kong Country, as well as the enduring friendship and bravery of its beloved characters. As I mentioned before, it's going to be a follow-up to the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and it's going to be stylistically similar to the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Next up, we have a new universe, where we know in the Mario movie that they said that characters live in different universes, so I think that's the way you can eventually tie all these characters in together in the Super Smash Bros. Movies, where this next film is in the world of The Legend of Zelda, and it's called Link and the Legend of Zelda. So it follows the events of the video game Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, where a movie adaptation of this would follow the story of Link, a young hero tasked with rescuing his childhood friend Zelda from the evil Demon King demise. Link journeys through a series of floating islands in the sky, aided by his trusty Loftwing bird and the spirit of the Sword Fee. Along the way, Link collects powerful artifacts, battles fierce enemies, and solves intricate puzzles in dungeons. Link discovers that he is the reincarnation of a hero who defeated Demise in the past, and must face him once again in a final battle to save Zelda and restore peace to the land. The movie would showcase the epic scale of the Zelda universe, as well as the courage and determination of Link in his quest to save the world. So I think this film should be stylistically similar to How to Train Your Dragon. So something interesting is, for some reason, Illumination now has a share in DreamWorks and what they do. And obviously the Super Mario Bros. Movie is made by Nintendo and made by Illumination. So I think you could definitely bring over some of the animators from that DreamWorks project of How to Train Your Dragon over to Link and the Legend of Zelda and the future Link and the Legend of Zelda movies. The next film is another new universe in Metroid Prime. So this is going to follow the events of the video game by the same name, and a movie adaptation of this would follow the story of Samus Aran, a fearless bounty hunter on a mission to investigate a research station on the planet Talon 4. As she explores the station and the surrounding environments, Samus encounters the dangerous space pirates. who have taken control of the station and are experimenting with an ancient alien artifact called the Pheasant. Along the way, Samus acquires new abilities and weapons and must use them to battle her way through the challenging obstacles and enemies that could stand in her way. Eventually, Samus discovers that the space pirates are under the control of a powerful mutated entity known as Metroid Prime. In a thrilling climax, Samus faces off against Metroid Prime in a final battle, fighting for the fate of the galaxy. So this movie would showcase the incredible visuals and immersive atmosphere of the Metroid Prime universe, as well as the strong, resilient character of Samus Aran. And even though this is kind of random, I think that this film should be stylistically similar to Arcane, which is a TV series based on a video game series that is out on Netflix right now. I think that's a very good series, and I'll actually go into Arcane a little bit later and how it can actually tie into some of these. I just think having Metroid as an animated film franchise and having it in a neo-noir style would be pretty cool to see on screen. Now the next project is the sequel to the Super Mario Bros. Movie, the Super Mario Land movie. So this is going to take inspiration from the video games Super Mario Land, Super Mario Sunshine, and Yoshi's Island. So this movie is going to start off showing how Bowser's army is handling the defeat of Bowser, where now he's in prison, and what they're going to do. And this is when they actually find Yoshi's egg. And Yoshi actually is going to kind of start as an antagonist in this film, which is kind of interesting. But eventually he's going to realize that this is not for him. You're obviously going to see that he's not going to be very fond of the way that the Koopas and the Goombas are acting. So eventually he's going to turn over and he's going to work with Mario. But the beginning of the film is going to be sort of a heist where they're going to kind of fish out Bowser to save him from the prison cell. And once they save him, they're going to give him a mushroom so he can grow. And then he's going to be the main antagonist again, and he's going to seek vengeance. So in this movie, Mario is going to be on vacation after the events of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, where he discovers that the island he's on has been taken over by Bowser, who's using a new weapon to spread chaos and destruction with the help of Bowser Jr., who also helped save him in this movie, and his own versions of Mario and Luigi, Wario and Waluigi. Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach meet up with her old friend, Princess Daisy, who has been imprisoned by Bowser. So that's going to be who they need to save in this movie. And together they set out to stop Bowser's plan and save the island. Along the way, they meet a new ally, Flood, a water-powered backpack that Mario uses to navigate through levels and defeat enemies. They face off against Bowser in the final battle, where they learn that he has been corrupted by a mysterious force. With the help of Flood, they are then able to defeat Bowser and restore peace to the island. The movie would showcase the fun and adventurous spirit of the Super Mario series, as well as the enduring friendship between Peach and Daisy, and the newfound relationship between Mario and his trusty steed, Yoshi. Now we go to another new universe in Kirby, which would happen in 2026. So this is going to take inspiration from the Kirby's Dream Land video game series, where Kirby lives in a peaceful world of Dreamland, but trouble arises when the evil King DDD steals all the food in the land and divides it among his minions. Kirby sets out on a quest to recover the stolen food and put a stop to DDD's plans. Along the way, Kirby collects new abilities by inhaling and copying the powers of his enemies, including fire, ice, and swordplay. As Kirby progresses through the film, he faces off against DDD's minions and eventually confronts the king himself in a final battle. Kirby discovers that the king was not acting alone, and that a greater threat looms over Dreamland. With the help of his friends, including Tiff and Tuff, and a character that we meet later in the film in Meta Knight, Kirby sets out on a new adventure to save Dreamland from this new danger. The movie would showcase the fun, colorful world of Kirby, as well as the heroism and bravery of its beloved characters. And I think that this film, once again based on a DreamWorks film, should be stylistically similar to Trolls. I don't think the themes of the film should be stylistically similar to Trolls. I think that Trolls is kind of a too childish movie, where I think there should be some level of stakes in the Kirby movie, similar to the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Even though it is very comical, it is very lighthearted, you still had stakes. And I think that's what you should have for the Kirby movie. But I think visually, it should look like Trolls. So next up, we have Star Fox Season 1. So now we're going into the TV realm, and all of these series are going to be released on Netflix. You know Netflix wants those original series right now because they're starting to... And if they can get the series for the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, which seems likely considering how many of these projects from DreamWorks and Illumination go directly to Netflix, I think that they would be more than happy to take them in. So, this show is going to follow the story of the first and second Star Fox video games. A TV adaptation of Star Fox would follow the story of Fox McCloud and his team of pilots as they defend the Lilat system from the evil Andross, who has declared war on the galaxy. The team consists of Peppy Hare, Falco Lombardi, and Slippy Toad, each with their own unique skills and personalities, where Falco is going to be like the second in command, just because, he's a character that we all love from the Super Smash Bros. Games. As the team progresses through the levels, they face off against Andross's minions and work to uncover his plans. Fox also discovers that Andross is linked to his father's mysterious disappearance years earlier. Fox's team also faces a rival, Wolf O'Donnell, and his team of mercenaries, Star Wolf. The two teams clash multiple times throughout the show, with Wolf trying to outdo Fox at every turn. In a final battle, Fox and his team confront Andross in a thrilling dogfight to save the galaxy and uncover the truth about Fox's past. In the end, Fox and his team succeed in defeating Andross, but Wolf manages to escape and promises to meet Fox again someday. The show would showcase the thrilling action and adventure of the Star Fox franchise, as well as the bond between the members of the team. It would also delve into the themes of family and loyalty, as Fox grapples with its past and his determination to stop Andross at any cost. This show could also explore the complicated relationship between Fox and Wolf, as well as their shared experiences as pilots and soldiers. And I think the relationship between Fox and Wolf in this season and the following season should be similar to Thor and Loki from the MCU. I think that would be an interesting relationship to eventually have them build up, where at beginning you can see that it's very tense between them, but later on in the second season you're going to see that even though there's still a lot of tension, it's a more comical form of tension. So I think that this show should be stylistically similar to, this is pretty unpopular, but Sinbad Legend of the Seven Seas, where I don't necessarily think that it should look exactly the same. I think that you should make the actual creatures look better in 3D. Where Sinbad and the Legend of the Seven Seas, it's 2D animated, but when they brought in monsters or massive creatures, then they would do those in 3D animation, which I do think would be pretty cool to see in a TV series, especially with better technology today, because it did not look good in that movie, but I definitely do think that it could work. And considering this is the TV realm, I personally don't expect them to do these series in 3D animation, because I've looked at the way that some of these 3D animated DreamWorks TV shows have looked, and while The Adventures of Puss in Boots looks good, the more recent series like Kung Fu Panda, The Dragon Knight, does not look good at all. It looks extremely cheap, and I know it's on Netflix, so I don't want that to happen to these series. So I'd rather they just do 2D animation, something that's easier to do, with some taste of 3D animation whenever they need to take on Andross. I think that would be pretty cool to see. Now, the next project, which is going to finish up this first episode, is the Super Smash Bros. Movie, which is going to take inspiration from the Super Smash Bros. Story mode, and a movie adaptation of the first Super Smash Bros. Game would bring together a cast of beloved Nintendo characters for an epic battle royale. The story focuses on the famous characters, including Mario, Link, Donkey Kong, and we will get to who's involved in the Pokemon realm soon, as they are summoned to fight in a tournament held by the mysterious Master Hand. So when they're recruited in to fight by the Master Hand, it's basically one person from each world is told, you need to save your world, where only one world will make it out of this alive. So the worlds that we are going to see are going to be the Marioverse, the Metroidverse, the Zeldaverse, the Kirbyverse, and the Star Foxverse. And then one other one that I'll get to later. But what's interesting is, since there's only going to be one representative from every planet, or from every world, I think you can do something pretty creative with Mario, where Mario is actually going to be defending his home world where he is originally from, whereas you're going to see another character defend the worlds of the Mushroom Kingdom and Bowser's Kingdom and Donkey Kong Island, where I actually think it would be pretty cool if Bowser is the representative of that world. I think it would set an interesting premise where Bowser does not want to help everybody take out the Master Hand, and he instead just wants to do it for himself and to protect his world, while everybody else is saying, what if we can save the rest? And eventually Bowser will help out. And now one other world that would be very interesting to see is Princess Peach in her actual home world, where, as I mentioned in the first film, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, they do mention that she is actually not from the Mushroom Kingdom, and she came from another world randomly when she was a baby. So if you can make her that she's part of another world, and out of nowhere she's coming to help out in this battle, and she thinks she's representing her actual world, but then at the end of the film, we're teased with her going back to her actual home world, because that's the way that these portals are going to work. It's going to take you from the world that you're in now, and once, so it'll set an interesting situation for the next Mario movie. Throughout the tournament, the characters face off against each other in thrilling battles, each using their unique abilities and moves to try to come out on top. However, as they progress, they begin to realize that Master Hand, as I mentioned before, is not a benevolent host, and that there may be more at stake than just winning the tournament. In a final showdown, the characters realize that they are stronger together, and instead of just saving one world, they actually have a chance to save every planet. And if they can do this, they can stop the Master Hand. In a final showdown, the characters band together to take on Master Hand and his minions. The movie would showcase the fun, action-packed nature of the Super Smash Bros. Series, as well as the camaraderie and rivalry between the different Nintendo characters. It would also explore the theme of unity against a common enemy, as the characters put aside their differences and work together to save the world. So I think a pretty cool premise and copy is actually from something that came out around 3 to 4 years ago, which is on YouTube, and they made a sequel to it called Super Villain Bowl, and pretty much it's every single superhero or hero from every film franchise or TV series. They basically go at a massive battle against each other to see who comes out the victor. And then the sequel to Super Villain Bowl, same thing happens, but at the end, they realize that this is actually being held by this larger-than-life creature, which could be similar to the Master Hand here, and they need to band together to take on this Master Hand. So if we can do this and make it very to how they did that, I think that would be very cool to see. As I mentioned before, world, and we're main to follow in the world of Pokemon in the form of Ash Ketchum, who takes on the role of the Pokemon trainer from the Smash Bros. Video games here, which establishes that all the shows and movies focus on Ash Ketchum are part of this universe as well. So I think this would be pretty cool, and when I was thinking, how are you going to get a character as big as Mario to join the team? Obviously, Link is going to be a huge character, and I think that film franchise will be successful in the world. Obviously, everybody knows Kirby as well. But if you can get Ash Ketchum, I think that would bring a lot of fans into the theaters, because that is a lot of people's childhood. Some people that didn't necessarily play the Smash Bros. Games, but loved playing the Pokemon games and watching the Pokemon show, they know this character very well. So before I go on talking more about how he will tie into this, I'm going to do a very quick run through of all the projects in the Pokemon. And I'm going to do a very quick run through. I'm not going to focus on any of them. I'm just going to spew them all out. So if you want to slow down the video, search them up afterwards, go ahead. But so that this video does not end up being 50 minutes long, I'm just going to quickly mention all of them. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5, Pokemon the Movie I Choose You, Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, which is actually going to be the animation style of Ash in this movie, where it's kind of 3D animated. Pokemon the Movie 2000, Pokemon 3 the Movie, Spell of the Unknown, Pokemon the Movie The Power of Us, Pokemon Forever, Celebi, Voice of the Forest, Pokemon Heroes, Mewtwo Returns, Pokemon the Mastermind of Mirage, Pokemon, Season 6, Season 7, Season 8, Season 9, Pokemon Jirachi, Wishmaker, Pokemon the Movie Destiny Deoxys, Pokemon Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea, Season 10, Season 11, Season 12, Season 13, Pokemon The Rise of Darkrai, Pokemon Giratina and the Sky Warrior, Pokemon Arceus and the Jewel of Life, Pokemon Ranger, Guardian Signs, Pokemon Zoroark, Master of Illusions, Bidoof's Big Stand, Season 14, Season 15, Season 16, Part 1, Season 16, Part 2, Pokemon the Movie, either the white one or the black one, where it's Victini and Zekrom, or Victini and Reshiram. They made 2 movies. You can watch whichever one you want. Pokemon the Movie, Kyurem versus the Sword of Justice. Pokemon the Movie, Genesect and the Legend Awakened. Season 17, XY Specials, Season 18, Season 19, Pokemon the Movie, Dante and the Cocoon of Destruction, Pokemon the Movie, Hoopa and the Clash of Ages, Pokemon the Movie, Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel, Season 20, Season 21, Season 22, Pokemon the Movie, Secrets of the Jungle, Season 23, Season 24, Pokemon Evolutions, Season 25, which is the end of this series, and then we'll get on to what happens with the Pokemon world. You obviously don't need to watch everything beforehand, but there will be some references to some characters, and eventually when we go more into the Pokemon world in future films, we'll discuss this world more. So in this film, Ash is going to go in with his team of Pikachu, Charizard, Ivysaur, Squirtle, Greninja, and Lucario, where these are all characters that are in the Super Smash Bros. Game. They're all available. Pokemon Trainer uses Charizard, Ivysaur, and Squirtle, but then Pikachu, Greninja, and Lucario are their separate characters. While there are other Pokemon characters in the game, like Incineroar, I decided that I'm going to leave him for the sequel, and you also see what happens with Mewtwo later on. So another thing that I think would be pretty interesting is to have a DLC character in all three of these movies, where the first one I think should be a character that has been very successful in the TV realm already, with Jinx from Arcane, where she's also representing her world. So it's going to be a crossover video game character that has had success in the TV realm. I think she would be a pretty cool one to see in the first film, and it ties in because of all the Netflix influence on this Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Also, I think this film should be stylistically similar to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse by showing all the different art styles come together. That would be very interesting to see, with having Mario's specific animation style, having Legend of Zelda with Link appear in a very How to Train Your Dragon-esque design. Then when Fox pops up as well, I don't necessarily think that he should be 2D animation. I think you can do something where it's obvious that he is from a 2D world, but he has some 3D aspects thrown into it so that it can fit better into this film and the overall design of the world. So as we do this, the team is going to be Mario, Peach, Bowser, who needs to eventually come to their side, where at first he's going against them, Link, Kirby, Ash with his team, Fox, Samus, and the DLC character Jinx, and together they're going to need to stop the Master Hand. So that is part 1 of the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, phase 1 of the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, chapter 1, whatever you want to call it. And as we close that out, eventually we will get on to all the Legend of Zelda sequels, the Super Smash Bros. Sequels, the Super Mario Bros. Sequels, the Kirby sequels, everything. So please let me know what you think about phase 1 of the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell notification for more videos like this so that you know when I post phase 2, which is going to be out very soon. So thank you, and see you next time on Big Flick Energy.